Today was another day where Bitcoin did as it does usually. It played with a lot of volatility, creating a lot of emotions, and then came back up, closed above that short-term trend line on a daily chart. So if you are in the market looking at, okay, what the market is doing, we are still in green. Keep that in mind. We're still in green and we are about $1.7 trillion. We are not dropping here, if you understand that correctly. Look at different exchanges. Exchanges are getting more valuable. What does that mean? If you have a doubt, look for what happened back in 2017, back in 2021. You learn from the history and you get an idea. New people are entering. Exchanges are getting busier. They're getting more trades. They're getting more spread. They're making more money. They are becoming more valuable as an institution, which kind of clearly gives you the idea crypto market is about to go higher. There is no doubt on that one. But the key issue in the market is things like these. These kind of guys actually come out to kind of, nail you guys. And then they go up, buy all of those assets. So this is one of the primary reasons why we usually say, don't just listen to what these guys actually say. Look at what they do with their own money. That's important. Because when you actually see things like this, they don't want you to make way more return than all of these things. Because this is just Bitcoin showing you 152%. Even if you look at some assets which just started moving up now, they're up 180. We have a lot of assets which are up way more than that. We all know it. We went through that. But the idea here is that this is all planned, or at least they know what's going to happen and they're trying to execute it one by one. If that's not what you think, this should be a meme you should consider. Right now in the market, you have different things happening. This is super bullish. Let me break this down to you. I strongly believe this is super bullish and the altcoin market is about to do the next leg higher. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Say this is an asset we followed from a long period of time, right? We looked at those, we followed it through, and we knew what's coming. And right now it's breaking through different ranges. It's already up. You know what's happening. Now, for my surprise, I was actually looking through some of them and, I was like, okay, that's something really good to look through. Because obviously, if you have a call which you're putting somewhere, and in a year time, if you see things like this, this really made me think a lot. These giants in the financial industry kind of put the idea of, okay, S&P 500 is going to go somewhere around 4,300, 4,200. Some was like, 3,007. This is not a huge thing, but this was clear in the chart. This was back in November 2022, where I gave this, right? The fake out to the bottom usually shows you that the price is about to rise higher, right? It is about to break through that. So everyone was talking about a recession and we were like, yeah, but the market is about to go higher. Now, what does that pattern show you? The measured move gives you where the price is now. And I'm like, okay, all these giants in the market missed this shit. They just manipulated you. If me as a normal TA guy understand this, they also should be knowing this very well. But this is the way how they manipulate the market. This is the only reason why I told you this in the beginning. Now let's jump into crypto. Bitcoin dominance shows you that it is still pushing to the downside. Now, yeah, the RSI is getting close to the overbought territory, but as we all know, the big drop comes in when you enter the overbought territory, or the big pumps come when you enter the oversold territory. Don't get into that bullshit narrative of it's overbought, it's going to go down. No, it can stay there for some time and it can still move in that direction. So now you're watching that the price of Bitcoin is slowly pushing to the upside. Literally, you go look at what's happening in the last couple of hours. It was volatile, but you found a lot of buyers. So you saw something similar happening here, and then the price went up. Now, you're starting this journey at a higher price point. You're not starting it at 40, you are starting it close to say 41,700. Which means this time you have a possible breakout. Maybe, what do you think? By the end of this year, we are going to break this to the upside, put a new all-time highs for this season. That is going to be something to look at, because what's the measured move here? That's a 10%. The breakout at 44 kind of gives you an idea. Okay, that means we are going close to $50,000 in Bitcoin. Means again, media attention, all of those stuff. Now, if we actually remove all this and understand the fact that, okay, we are actually talking about something which is possible here, which we are not neglecting, right? We do see this. And if the price is bouncing back, that means something, right? That means something. Last time you saw this, we know what happened. You went back up for a retracement. Now that's not the case. You're consolidating in this level for some time. So you're not coming back down. You're being pushed back up. And if you do break higher, that's going to be something like this. That's great. But at the same time, when you see the Bitcoin dominance slowing down, that should make you think Bitcoin is going up in price. But the market shows you more money is now flowing into the altcoins. So if you're positioned well enough in the altcoin market, you are about to get rewarded. Because usually you see like, okay, you flirt with the moving average, great. But you bounce back up because the RSI was at the support, it was bouncing back up, all good, all great. Right now, the MACD is crossing to the downside. RSI is breaking that trend line, which has been valid from a long period of time. I'm talking from 2021. So the 2022, the 2023, you're getting into 2024. That's a long period of time. So if you're breaking that support here, that does mean something for alt market. So you then go into the alt market. You're looking at the total tree, which is like, excluding Ether. You see, okay, we are in the overbought territory. We're staying there. We're not getting rejected. Historically speaking, when you do those, you know what happens in the price action. Now, even if you include Ether and look at it, it's kind of the same news. It's showing you it's staying there, and it's staying there for a reason. The MACD is still going through the skies. The monthly shows you it's just starting. You have a long way to the upside. So now you are like, okay, let me just look at the price action. All these indicators are confusing me. If that's you, I would say, we learn a lot from history, right? And if this doesn't give you a clear idea, I don't know what else will take you through that. Because historically speaking, this is something you should consider. You go on a macro chart, whether weekly, whether it's a monthly, it's completely on you. But look at the macro. When the macro shows you a fact that there is a trend line formation here, most likely Bitcoin is going to top off here. But what is it going to be in the price terms? I really don't know. No one knows for that matter. But you have an idea that this is not topping off at this price level. You have a long way to go. But then the question becomes like, okay, do we get a lot of volatility before we go up? If you're highly levered in this asset at 10x, that's where you get serious trouble. 10, 20, 30x. Yeah, you are in serious trouble. Other than that, no, the market is not going to kill you, right? You are there, you're riding this because you understand things clearly. This is by design. If you are not in financial assets as of now, you're losing purchasing power every single day. Now then comes the talk about XRP. He is still inside this pattern. Nothing has changed. But what kind of interests me is like this pattern, which we are seeing in the price action, was something similar to what we saw here just before the breakout came in. But that's still a weekly candle. So you still were flirting with the moving average here in the RSI. We are still doing something similar here. So that's another interesting point to look at. At that point, MACD was trying to say, okay, I'm going to cross back to the downside, but it bounced off. Here also, The MACD is showing like I may cross to the downside. What if that bounces off? This is what we really want to see. So then we go on a daily chart to see whether that's possible, right? We want to see if the odds are on our side. And one of the things which we have noted is that this asset plays with triangles, whether it's the algorithm, whether it's the whales, whatever, they like this. Or at least this is one of the way where they make the retail investor feel emotionally frustrated, irritated, so that they'll move out. So these big guys make the big gains. Don't fall for that in this asset. This usually moves the last, and that's one of the reasons why you are seeing a lot of different assets kind of, becoming bubble. They're literally running through. This is not a small thing. We followed up this asset all the way from here. I showed you guys the charts before. Look at this. If your argument was like it's entering overbought territory, it should go down, you were wrong. Why? It stayed close to that territory and went up like nuts. You go back in history and you see something similar. That's a lot. That's a lot to digest, because here you are in the payments industry. You're nowhere near that. You're just starting. XLM at least shows us the weekly MACD crossed to the upside. The volume is to the upside. MACD is in the positive territory. RSI is pointing you to the upside. If we get a small bounce, you will see the daily slowly entering into the overbought territory. That's when we start seeing something. It's tiring. It's really tiring to watch these assets do kind of nothing, irritating, when all the other assets are slowly moving up. But if you learn from the history, this is something which we have seen again and again and again in these assets for some reason. So you're still waiting here for a breakout for sure. That amount of patience is something which not everyone has in the market. I mean, those who have it is going to kill it. They'll take a ton of profit when a lot of others will not be able to do that. And when I say this, I say with whole art. Remember, when you're in the market, there is a lot of different opportunities in front of you. If you are entering an asset, make sure you have the patience to ride that. See, I remember, there's a lot of different assets which we are closing now for sure in last couple of weeks, last month. If we run through that, we actually see a lot of them. We are skimming profits, taking profits, running through them. And we understand that there was a lot of different assets which actually hit that 100% mark, and still a lot of people don't have that profits. Why? They entered into these assets, but they didn't have the amount of patience to wait through. That's really hard. You need the discipline to enter these trades, but you also need the discipline to take profit as it goes to the upside. You guys get to see where I buy this. You guys get to see where I sell this. You guys get all this information in the group. So I'm like, okay, that's giving you an edge in the market. Everyone can do this. Just take your time, learn what the market shows you, backtest it, go all the way as long as you have in charts. Use the macro charts. Say if you are looking at Bitcoin, don't just look for last 3 years, last 5 years. Go into a macro chart and look as long as possible. In the charts like this, in an exchange-based chart, you don't get to see that. So you have to go into all-time history index, where you go all the way back here. Because if not, you'll actually fall for some of these guys who actually just show you this, saying like, this is a trend line, this is all. No. This is how the thing moved. So you have a structure forming somewhat like this at the top and the bottom. That's not precise, I know that, but you guys get the idea. If you want to look at it on another angle to get things a little bit better, you can just put a arc here and see how the bottom is showing you. If this is true, you're not close to the bottom. The bottom is here at 17,000. The price is at 42,000. So you get the point. You are moving towards the upside. Are we at the midpoint? That's something we really would like to know. So you are now plotting it, trying to connect through this. And if you do it correctly, you're like, okay, this is what you're looking at, somewhat like this, right? We're getting maybe not 100% accurate, but still you're watching for like 100, 120, 110, that kind of a range where this asset may actually top off. That is something to consider. So you're at the midpoint. You still have halfway through. Now, why am I saying this? When you go through all these and look at when was the last time in all of these run-ups, Bitcoin reached the halfway. And then go look at how the altcoins performed. It's easy. You look at the date and you're like, okay, large cap altcoins didn't even move till the point Bitcoin reached here. They moved up in the last 3 months here. That's something, isn't it? You go look at this. This is the area where XRP and others started bursting through. So Bitcoin was like $200. It went all the way up to like, $2,000. And that's when you saw large cap alts popping. So you are getting close to that. We are not at 17,000 now. We are at 42. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. But you may still want to see this asset moving a little bit up before you get to see all the large cap alts popping. Yes, for sure, you have assets in the market right now doing this. And if you are interested in getting these kind of updates, then the follow-up, then the target, and everything related to crypto for your portfolio, you can look at the Scientific Investor family. The link to reach that is in the description below in YouTube or in the bio if you're watching the same video on Twitter. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button. That supports the channel a lot. And I appreciate that too. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.